Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, Instagram. I'm just trying to tune into Facebook and YouTube, so just give me a second. Hi, Davinash Sharma and Marsha. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I promised you guys that I was going to come back on live this afternoon. I started this live in the morning, but there were so many questions because, I'd been out of the office and I hadn't done a live in 2 weeks. So I, said I was going to come back at 3:30, even though it's 3:45, because sometimes you're in meetings and you have to finish your meetings. So I am back on live and I can answer your questions. Hi, Sharif on YouTube. Good afternoon, Michael Obi. Mike says the people's attorney is back online. Yes, I am back online. Happy New Year, Daminish. Good afternoon, Sunny Sun. Someone is asking a question. So let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Aisha Chidole. For those of you who don't know me or tuning in for the first time, I'm an immigration lawyer and I help clients with their family-based immigration, complex humanitarian-based cases, VAWA cases, T visas, U visas, naturalization, and 336 appeals, RFEs, all those, fun stuff. If you need to schedule a consult, you can call us at 407-995-6567. Someone says, I'm a doctoral student of policy. Do I have a chance? Do you have a chance at what? I don't know what you're asking me. So maybe you can expand on your question. Tresha said, good morning, good afternoon. I finally caught your live. Yay. Sonny said, you're a blessing to this generation. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. The old Theola Woolley Lemmy says, I've been praying for you to come online. Well, God answered your prayer today. Christus Pabi says, hi, Aisha. I'd truly like to get in touch directly with you. You can definitely schedule a consultation and specifically ask for me if you'd like to get in touch with me. I don't know why my eyes are red. I don't know if this is lack of sleep or what. Anyway, someone is asking, can I get a job with a prima facie determination letter? No. In order for you to get a job legally, you need a work permit, an EAD, employment authorization document, to get it. So you do not take asylum cases. No, unfortunately, I don't take asylum cases. 2 years I've been working on my work permit, but I have not gone to court or ICE before. My lawyer did everything for me. I don't know if you're asking me a question. This is for Bello Ibrahim. I'm not sure if you're asking a question, so you can answer it. Any tips for foreign lawyers who want to start a paralegal career in the United States? Sure. You can apply to, law firms, in your areas of interest, whether that's immigration, criminal law, whatever it is that you're interested in, and try to learn, the job and get experience, and once, sometimes people will hire and train you. Sometimes people want people with experience. So really it's just about, applying. I will tell you, and my staff will tell you that I'm, at our firm, we're very detail oriented. And if you wanted to apply to a firm, you have to be very detail oriented. Like what I mean by detail oriented, like some people, it might not bother them if there's no period after a sentence. It bothers me, or if something is not even formatted correctly, or like the spelling is wrong, or so because I feel like it's how you present yourself, before the reviewing body and USCIS. So even though it's like a typo, fix it, just because the more professional and the more the less errors that we have in these applications, the better those applications look, and the more serious that USCIS takes us. So I think it's a good quality for most, if not all, lawyers to have. So it's something that will be good no matter where you work. Okay, so Arable says, good to see you back. Thank you. Happy New Year, Sunky vibes. How many months to get a VAWA approval after an EAD combo? VAWA approvals from start to finish takes about 2 to 3 years. On average right now, I don't know if the timelines are going to change, but we'll see. Someone is asking, can Trump end green card and VAWA and citizenship? No, he cannot. So now, having said that, can he make it more difficult for people? like your green card marriage-based application, sure. I talked about it earlier this morning. So if you want to go watch this morning's live, where I talked about how he can make the process more difficult, you can. But, immigration is a part of life. It's not only something that's in America, it's something that's all over the world. I mean, President Trump's wife immigrated to the United States, so, as long as you're doing things the correct way, you're staying out of trouble, staying out of crime, and, there's a legal remedy for you to get your green card, you're permitted to do that. And I don't foresee that changing. Can they make it a little bit more difficult? As I said, yeah, it's possible, especially marriage-based cases and any case that requires you to show that you're not a public charge. Marcia says, happy and blessed 2025 to you and your staff. Thank you so much. Can a VAWA self-petitioner with the current status of an H-1B travel outside the U.S. and re-enter on an H-1B without impacting the VAWA process? Do not travel, unless you have a travel permit from your I-485. As long as you have an I-485 pending, you can no longer travel with any other status you have unless you have a travel permit from the I-485. If you travel, they're not going to have a problem letting you back in. They're going to let you back into the country. However, they're going to deny that 485. Okay, so don't travel until that I-131 converts to an approval. Okay. Are text messages from the abusive spouse enough evidence in VAWA? It's one of many evidence of credible evidence. It's one type of evidence that you can give, so amongst other things. And with text messages, USCIS usually wants the text messages to be presented to USCIS in a way that they can verify the source, that this is truly that person's phone number. So like, for instance, we always want to see the phone number of the person so that it can be independently verified that this text message is coming from that person, as opposed to just a random screenshot of a text message. So it can be one of the things, amongst other things that you can submit for a VAWA application. Someone was telling me today that they had a consult and that person didn't know that with the VAWA case, you had to, live with your spouse. You have to have shown that you live with your spouse. So I want to talk about that real quick right now. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, VAWA is a law, it's an act that allows both men and women, children and parents, to apply for a green card on the basis of abuse. The category of people who are eligible for this are the following. If you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you can apply for VAWA if you've been a victim of abuse. We'll go over the requirements in a second. If you are the child of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and you're under the age of 21, you can apply for VAWA. There's a late exception application which can be filed between 21 to 24 before you hit 25. And then the other category is if you are the parent of a U.S. citizen who's over the age of 21 and you've experienced abuse from that child, you can file for VAWA. I want to specifically talk about marriage since that seems to be the most common one that we get questions about. With VAWA, there are a few things that you have to show. The first thing that you have to show is, one, that you are in a qualifying marriage. What do I mean when I say qualifying marriage? Qualifying marriage means that you have terminated any previous marriages. If let's say you either by divorce, either if the person passed away and you have the death decree, or if you ever, and this is for those people who have ever lied in an application, just know that it comes to haunt you. Like, so if let's say you were filing for a tourist visa and to get a tourist visa, you were just like, oh yeah, I'm married, but you're really single. What's going to happen is that when you file the VAWA application, they're going to be like, well, but your tourist visa, you said you're married, so you need to give us a divorce certificate or you'll be denied. So you have to have a qualified marriage, meaning you're not married to 10 people, you're married to one person, you've divorced any previous spouses. That's number one. You have to prove that that marriage was entered into in good faith. People always ask, what is good faith? Good faith just means this is a genuine marriage. This is a genuine marriage. You guys intended to build a life together. And, for whatever reason, this person became abusive. And so you can no longer build a life together, right? The third thing is that you have to show that that person has been abusive to you. Abuse can take many forms. Abuse is not only physical, okay? Abuse can be mental. Abuse can be psychological. Abuse can be financial. Abuse can be sexual. Abuse can be an abuse of the legal system, abuse of technology. So there are many different variations where when you look at it in totality, most people that experience abuse usually experience more than one form of abuse. So it's never just one thing. It's usually a combination of different things, whether that's control that leads to financial abuse, psychological abuse. Ooh, look, I just sprayed my whole self here trying to put some hand lotion. Yeah, so there's so many different ways in which you can show, abuse. So that is a requirement. The other requirement is that you have to prove that you are a person of good moral character. What is good moral character? Good moral character means that you don't have any crimes of moral turpitude in the last 3 years. So typically, if you have not been in the United States for 3 years before you file for VAWA, we always want proof of moral character from your home country in addition to the one that was sent here from the United States. So if we're sending like an FBI report or a police clearance here, we also want proof from your home country that you don't have any criminal records or crime there. And then let me see, am I covering everything? I think I'm covering everything. Yeah. And then obviously there are some other things that potentially that is very incident specific. Some people maybe had a misrepresentation issue in the previous case, but now they're eligible for VAWA. In those cases, we usually will file a misrepresentation waiver for them for the previous case, asking for forgiveness. But in order for us to do that, we have to show hardship to a qualifying relative or to themselves in those cases. So those are some of the requirements. Oh yeah, I forgot the most important requirement that I wanted to talk about, which is in order for you to be eligible for VAWA, you have to prove cohabitation. What is cohabitation? Cohabitation means that you and your spouse lived together at some point, either before marriage or during marriage. You must have lived together. There is no published timeline as to how long you've lived together, but you just want to show that you have lived together during the marriage or prior to the marriage, okay? So I hope that answered that question. Okay, my VAWA case was approved 3 months ago, and then I applied for I applied for my I-485 concurrently in 2021. My wife was a permanent resident, and now she's a U.S. citizen. Should I notify this to USCIS? Sure, you can certainly notify them. I don't think in your case it matters because they are processing cases for you based on when you submitted your application. So you should be coming up. 2021 is, if your VAWA was approved 3 months ago, this morning I mentioned that, it takes about 6 months for most people to get a green card after the approval. So, you're still within a normal timeline. Okay. And just to add, Milton, USCIS doesn't have an expectation that you're keeping in touch with your spouse that's abusive to you. So it's not a situation where they're expecting you to update them on that spouse's status change. It's only your status change that they care about. Can I invite my mom to the USC and pay for everything if I have VAWA? You can always try to invite your parent, to come visit you, but there's no guarantee that USCIS or at the consulate they will approve you. So approval of a tourist visa is not a right. It's just something that's desired, and USCIS makes the discretion of whether or not they want to approve someone. A lot of times they're going to look and see, does this person have any ties back home that will keep them back home if they approve them to come and visit? Or, are they going to, never come back? So those are things that they would consider, but you can certainly invite her. If you're inviting her maybe for like, I don't know, a wedding, you just had a child, you want her to come and, visit with your child, those are all good reasons, to invite them. Okay. My VAWA case is in process. My mother is sick. Can I get a letter from the hospital to speed up my travel permit? You can definitely try to. And you can actually do what we call an emergency travel permit as opposed to expediting. With an emergency travel permit, you'd have to schedule in for pass and go into the USCIS office itself and show them, listen, my mom is in the hospital. I don't know how serious, God forbid, but, if your mom's situation is serious, that's something to present to them. This is a serious crisis and, I don't want to be here. If something happens, I want to at least go see her. And, usually with the emergency travel permits, they give it to you for like a shorter window. So sometimes they'll give it to you for a couple of weeks. Okay. All right. My mom's filing is in place. Will it be affected with the new president? I don't know what filing that you have for your mom, but right now I don't see the reason why it would be. But I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what kind of case and what we can expect to see. Someone is asking, can Trump end birthright citizenship? And can he end the U visa? So can Trump, I've talked about this before and I feel like I talked about it earlier. So with the U visa, Trump could end it if he wanted to. I'm not saying he's going to, because the next thing I'm going to get a phone call saying that Aisha said Trump is going to end the U visa. I did not say that. I'm just saying that he has the power to try to end that if he wanted to, without much issue, if he wanted to. However, he doesn't have the power to end birthright citizenship on his own, because this is something that is in the Constitution. A sitting president cannot amend the Constitution unilaterally. They're going to need a majority of the House and the Senate to be able to do it, and even ratified by other states. When I say majority, sometimes people say, well, the Republicans have majority, blah, 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 blah. When I say majority, I mean 2/3 of all the numbers of people that are in the House. One party does not have 2/3 of all the other people. So in order for them to do that, they're going to require several Democrats to vote that they want to end birthright citizenship in order for them to amend the Constitution. So it is a talking point, but it is not something that I believe will happen or can happen, because it would mean that a lot of Democrats are basically what I would call people who maybe believe in one thing and are just saying the other thing to enter, the House or the Senate or whatever it is. So it would require both Democrats and Republicans to vote for it, which is unlikely. It's literally one of our foundations. When you really think about it, everyone in this country that was born in the United States is a citizen by birth. Every single one of us that was born in the United States is a citizen by birth, including President Trump. So maybe in the way he's going to attempt to do it is to put certain parameters, but I just don't see him just saying we're going to end. I see him saying it, but I don't see it happening, because it's just illogical, that would happen. Okay. I amended my date of birth on my passport after I applied for a U.S. visitor's visa, but I want to apply again now with the correct date of birth. Please, would there be any issue? You just have to explain the difference in your date of birth and provide proof of your birth certificate and proof that you amended it to the correct thing. I received my B1, B2, and now I'm married to a U.S. citizen. But before that, I had been working without authorization in filling for adjustment of status. Is it a must that I declare the employment issue? I always take the policy of we did not lie to the government. We did not lie to USCIS. It is not worth it. I'll tell you that I can tell you confidently that 90% of applicants work without authorization. Now, if you worked without authorization and you're married to a U.S. citizen, you should disclose that. You should say you worked. Now, can USCIS penalize people for that? Possibly, but do they? No. Right now, they forgive that. They forgive that because they know that people need to work to survive, because immigrants pay a lot in taxes, whether that's through ITIN or Social Security number. Like, they need to survive so that they're not public charge. The key thing with working without authorization is that you should never, ever claim to be a U.S. citizen on any documentation, ever, because that is a bar to getting your green card and ultimately citizenship. But I want to be clear, I am not encouraging anyone to work without authorization. But if you do work without authorization and you're filing based on you being married to a U.S. citizen, you should be honest with USCIS and let them know. Okay? My son is a derivative of my VAWA. Just your question just disappeared. Oh my gosh. These questions come so fast, they disappear. Okay, I think I found you again. My son is a derivative of my VAWA. His I-485 got denied because the medical was not submitted in time. Appeal was also denied. Can I refile for I-485 without using a lawyer again? Trisha, what was the reason why the appeal was denied? Did you submit the medical with the appeal? Can you confirm that? Let me know. And no, you shouldn't submit it without a lawyer. My VAWA is in process from 1.5 years. Normal timeline. Money XK said, I've been emailing for someone to reach back out to me. No reply, follow up. Where are you? Let me write your name so maybe I can check your Instagram. I hope your Instagram has your name, because you guys have all this fake names, Monica, on social media, and then you comment and think that we would know who you guys are. So just hopefully your full name is on your profile, or you can send us a message on WhatsApp and say you were Money K from live today, and I'll see if someone can get back with you. Okay. USCIS lost the application in the lockbox center. Are they obligated to expedite the application if I resend the application? Sadly, no, they're not. Okay, so Diego says, my husband recorded me threatening him with a knife, and he reported it to USCIS. Will I be able to remove conditions on my green card? He never called the police. He did not call the police during the incident. But he reported it to USCIS because he has a footage of it. Will that affect me from removing my conditions? There's just so many variables and more context that's needed for that. Were you threatening him in self-defense? Was your life at risk? Couples fighting doesn't mean that couples don't have a real relationship. Removal of condition has to do with proving you have a good faith marriage. If you guys get divorced, you can still file for removal of condition as long as you can prove your marriage is real. In the United States, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. So what exactly is he sending to them with the knife? Why were you using a knife to threaten your husband? So those are some of the things that, you might want to have an answer to if, USCIS should bring that up. What happens if VAWA is approved after the petitioner is deported? The petitioner will have to consular process, will need permission to re-enter, will need to file a different application for that, or wait out the time. It just depends on what the situation or scenario is. We'll need a little bit more. I submitted an exhibited request for my VAWA EAD card and travel permit, and it got approved 20 months ago. My question, can I resubmit this exhibited request to exhibit my VAWA itself? I don't know, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what you submitted, and that I cannot give you legal advice as to submitting a form because I'm not your lawyer. I just got married in Jamaica. Congrats. My husband and I actually got married in Jamaica as well. So you said, how long before I can file the I-130 for my spouse? You can file it today. You can file it today. You definitely do not want to, wait if you're eligible to file. If if your spouse is outside the country, it means that you are, I'm assuming you're consular processing. So consular processing takes a long time. So you want to start the process here. Someone says, Shamoy.a says, okay, so clients' questions are being explored. Who are you? Like, I don't even know who this is. What question did you ask? This thing goes so fast. I can't see. And if you're a client, I'm sure we have attorney-client privilege, so we can discuss clients' legal matters on an immigration live chat. So definitely message us if you're a client, but I don't know what question you're referring to. My fiance is here on a K1 visa. Do we still need to do a second interview? Only USCIS will determine that. It's up to USCIS to schedule you for one. I have my VAWA pending for 980 days, close to 3 years. Now, just keep getting prima facie renewals. Is this still a good sign? No RFE yet. So if you are almost at the 3-year mark, most VAWA cases take 3 years. So you are definitely in the window that an approval will be coming very soon. Someone is asking, do you handle I-290B applications? Those are appeals. Yes, if a case is appealable and it's a case type that we represent, we'll be happy to help you. If your abusive spouse files a false protective order against you just to stop your I-130 that is pending and you have proof of her intention, will that affect your VAWA application? No, just tell them the truth. Tell them what happened. Okay. How long does it take to get my visa stamp in passport, green card? I've been bringing my parents, but my dad has been waiting 10 months. Still not approved, but my mom got approved. What do you mean your visa stamped in passport? Like, I don't know if I understand the question. Is it for you or is it for your dad? I'm not sure if I understand your question. What are your thoughts on DACA Dreamers since Trump said he wants to work out something for the recipients? Right now, I think it's great. It would be great for him too. There's obviously also the school of thought that says, what about the DACA recipients' parents who have been here for years and years, over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and, are law-abiding citizens that have not committed any crime, have been working and paying taxes. Then you also have the other side of the argument where it says, the dreamers, and for those of you who don't know dreamers are children of people who come into the country undocumented, right? They say for those dreamers, they didn't ask to be here. They were minors coming into the United States, so they didn't have a choice, but they feel like the parents have a choice. So, each side kind of has a debate. Personally, I think that, not only should they, allow those that are eligible for DACA to continue and create a path, I think that they should allow the parents. I know that people shouldn't come here undocumented. And it's, I definitely get a lot of, hate from those who are anti-immigration because they think we're all right, everybody come on in, open the borders or whatever it is. Listen, I know that for an organized country that, you need systems, and checks and balances and, penalties for those, for people so that people are not, you don't create a national security issue or just allow anyone in. I understand that. But here's the thing, for a lot of us who sit in a position of privilege or lack of understanding of why people go through what they go through and risk their lives and risk the separation with their kids and their families to be here. We don't know what we don't know. So it's easy to stand behind and not have that worrying us to say, well, why did they come into this country undocumented? Well, unless you know, you really don't know. So my thoughts are that I hope that he does work something out for them, and I do hope that he has some kind of modification even for PIP. Even if that means creating a path where similar to, I mean, I guess the other path would be consular processing, creating a path that maybe even is a little bit more stringent, but similar to what President Biden tried to do with the PIP that just got rejected in November. That would be great. All right, I'll take 3 more questions, and then I gotta jump off to continue working. Someone says, hello, Chinedu. My name is not Chinedu, so, but that's my husband's name, though. Let's see. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I filed an I-130 for my spouse going on 1 year next week. All it says is actively working. Is there anything I can do? Is that normal? Time frame for U.S. citizen. He's Haitian, Brazil. That's a normal time frame. Most I-130s for U.S. citizen filing can take anywhere from 6 to 13 months. 6 to 13 months is the average. It means that there are going to be people that it takes them more, and there are going to be people that it takes less, but majority of the people will fall in that window. Okay. Okay, 2 more questions. Let's see. I think I answered this question already. What about entering the U.S. as a child without inspection and got denied for DACA? He got here before 9/11, has been married. He's been here since he was 5. We've been married for 6 years. We have a 5-year-old. There is a path for you guys. You know, the path just requires that he consular processes. But there is a path. You know, you can apply for his I-130. If his I-130 is approved, then he can then apply for a 601A hardship waiver, which you are a qualifying relative and you can show hardship. Most likely, I'm sure, if I talk to you, I'm sure there is hardship with him, you know, not coming back, or with you and your child having to relocate back to a country that you've never lived in or known. And if that is approved, then he can go back for the interview, get approved, and come right back as a green card holder. So there is a path actually for that. All right, my last question. Are you from Trinidad? No, I am from Nigeria. Now, will all VAWA cases have an interview? How many months will it take for VAWA cases? No, I said this in the morning, and I say this almost every time I come on live. Only a select few VAWA cases will be scheduled for an interview. You know, not all cases will be scheduled for an interview. I mean, could you imagine how long VAWA already takes, and then them trying to schedule an interview for VAWA, and then it would never get approved. So no, not all VAWA cases are scheduled for an interview. They are selecting just certain applications. We don't know the method, the format, or who they select, you know, but honestly, like, they started this on December 2nd. As of December 2nd, we've only gotten 2. So, and, you know, we send like over 100 VAWA cases like a month. So I say that to say, no, not all are being unselected. And just saying hi to this person that says Ella with a Nigerian flag. That's actually my daughter's name as well. Well, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll be back on live next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you can call. If I didn't answer your question, please schedule a consultation. The other person called Shamoya A or Shamoya.A or -A. If you are a client, please use the client portal. I'll send me an email. You know, you should know that we don't want to discuss your personal information to the rest of the world. We'll be happy to answer any question via email. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.